There are so many different reasons why your fear may be extra strong and being extra triggered right now with everything going on in the world. Now, part of this is related to your genetics and human nature. Part of this is related to the environment and the stimulus and all the things that are being created externally for you. But on this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why all of these things are happening and what you can do to help decrease that fear, decrease your trauma response, and come back to the present moment so that you can manage and show up at your best every single day. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Kara Michelle and I'm here to help you live your truth. So I was thinking long and hard the other day about how so many people are being triggered right now with past trauma. Now I want to dive right into this in terms of intergenerational trauma, okay? So here's the thing. Every cell in your body, like you came from your parents, right? And every cell in your body was within them throughout their life. And every cell of their body was within them throughout their life and came from their parents. So this is how the intergenerational trauma gets passed down. Like, I'm not gonna draw it. let's spare the horrible drawings for today's video. But like, you've got a grandma and grandpa who have endured famine, like there were a lot of things going on when in like older generations when they were growing up, famine, wars, so many different things with the economy. So there was a lot of trauma. There was also a lot of fear and lack and scarcity around, is there going to be enough? Will we, think about like, and this is obviously stereotypical, but think about like a typical old person's pantry or something, like chock full of like soups and canned things, and like even if they made their own, but like jarred preservative things, so that they always had like more than enough in case something crazy happened. And this is like legitimately what we saw at the beginning of the COVID pandemic with the toilet paper, right? People were literally going into pandemic, yeah, but I mean like into a trauma response around, am I gonna have enough? And like, is the world gonna end? Are we gonna be out of everything? How am I gonna survive in my house? I need to stock up. So a lot of us looked at these people with maybe a little bit of judgment about like they're being selfish or they're being kind of crazy and radical by purchasing all this toilet paper and taking all these things, all these canned goods, stocking up so much. But like, it was a legitimate trauma response that had been passed down through generations. So everything that your grandparents, let's say when they went through, like I said, world wars, economic crashes, famine, also depending on where your lineage came from and where they encountered stress and struggle and lack, all of these things get passed down genetically because the egg and sperm cells are in you when you're born, which means that they were also in your parents when they were born, which means they came from your grandparents when they were born, and everything they lived through passed down. So genetically, there's that intergenerational trauma that continues to cycle. Energetically speaking as well, this is the same, where if there is certain kinds of energy, pent up energy in the body, you guys, it creates these stagnant energy blocks. This is why we talk about the chakras. This is why we do energy work to release these things, to get things flowing again, because you have this energetic body. And if you have a big trauma that's stored somewhere, for instance, then it can continue to trigger those same feelings and those same responses around similar situations, especially when your safety is being triggered. So we had all these people panicking about the toilet paper. Well, that's a lot of intergenerational trauma coming out and just being expressed because they are fearing for their safety. they're like, I don't know what's going on here. This is totally new, and there's all this fear on the news. I'm terrified, so I have to stock up on everything I possibly can. And it does create this really big, we're gonna get into that later, but it gets into this really big energy of fear versus love. Ego versus God. Okay? And you guys know, it's on the board. Yes. Winning. You guys know when I talk about God, this is interchangeable, okay? This isn't God from a religious standpoint. This is God, like the highest possible power, universe, source, angel. Like I said in another video, you could literally call it Bob. It doesn't matter. It's not about the name, it's about the energy, okay? So this is the difference right now. Some people, with everything going on, were mad triggered, and it causes them to go mostly into fear. They're living in a state of fear. The perfect way to think about this, if you're in this state or if you're observing other people in this state, is to honestly just think about like grandparents and think about, man, how much fear would they have had when there was like an economy crash and they didn't know where they were going to get their next meal from, right? Which is something like a lot of people are going through right now with our own economy struggling due to COVID, and like questioning, you know, like waiting on unemployment checks and when am I going to have the next thing of money coming in, and like how am I going to afford to put food on the table. There are a lot of people struggling in that situation right now. So that obviously brings up a lot of fear. And a lot of times though, if you're totally right there in it, it's 100% valid. Obviously, then you're living it and that fear is normal. But for a lot of people, they aren't necessarily in that position yet, but they're still living in fear. They're still being pulled into that trap. And like I said, if you look at your grandparents or great-grandparents, it might be easier for you to go, oh, okay, like this is why I'm feeling this way, because think of how they would have responded and the lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding, also the disconnect from God or any kind of higher power potentially, where they really felt so separated. And that's what the ego is here, okay? The ego equals separation. So the ego keeps you focused in just like this really narrow-minded me. So toilet paper, it's like, I need it. Like, I've got to get this. Like, I need all these foods. I need to stock up so that I'm safe. It's that security. And that comes back to your root chakra, which this board is getting extra messy. But let's just dive into that quick. Your root chakra at the base of your spine is all about safety and security. And it is the most important, I mean, they're all important, but it's the most important chakra because if it is blocked, then it stops the energy from being able to flow naturally all the way up through your sacral, your solar plexus, which is like your confidence, you know, your strength comes from your gut here, your solar plexus, your heart, which brings you into love, your throat chakra, which brings you into being able to speak and voice and like stand up for yourself, right? Your third eye or your pineal, which is all about like insight, intuition, being able to see things from a broader perspective. And then your crown chakra, which again is opening you up and connecting you to the higher source, to the higher power. So if your root chakra is blocked because you fear not being safe, it's stopping the energy flow throughout the rest of your energetic body. So it's going to, think about that. If all of these other ones are kind of blocked, no wonder you feel so incredibly isolated. No wonder you feel so caught in fear, so alone, so small, so out of control, and so disconnected from a higher power. When you are stuck in the ego, it's really hard to notice that like you're divinely supported. Like everything that's happening right now, we are supported. That doesn't mean everything's gonna work out and be rainbows and unicorns, because this is life, this is the human experience. The struggle and the contrast is necessary. But if you can lean back, if you can stay connected to God or to a higher power, to believing, you know what, I know I'm supported. I know that whatever's meant to be will be. That is the art of surrender. That is the art of leaning back and saying, I'm letting go. Because your fear is not going to solve the problem, right? Your current fear, your current trauma, your current panic response and discomfort is doing absolutely nothing to solve the problems. Nothing at all. It's not helping. It's making you worse, and it's creating more collective energy, more negative collective energy on the planet. And the planet, think about it like a web over the planet of energy, okay? So are you adding think of how light it feels when you feel in love, or when you feel bliss, when you feel pure joy, when you're laughing like a little kid. How light do you feel? That collective energy is so high. It's beautiful, right? It's really light. The collective energy of fear is very dense. It's heavy. You feel weighed down. You feel like there's no possibilities. You feel like there's nothing good. You can't see anything. You're just stuck. So that you're adding that energy not only to the planet and to human consciousness by staying in fear, but you're adding it to yourself. So which one would you prefer to live in? And this is what I talk about for myself right now, is that yes, I try to stay aware of what's going on in the world to an extent. Quite honestly, not that much, because I can't control it anyway. I can't change it anyway. Nobody's necessarily going to listen to me if I'm stop doing this or start doing that. Or I'm not a doctor. I haven't seen COVID firsthand. I haven't lived some of the things people are living right now around the world. So it's not my place. I'm not being ignorant, but I'm very, very extremely aware of energy and how energy works. So I am not going to watch the news. I am not going to just scroll into fear-based things on social media. I'm not going to engage in conversations with people who are ignorant and scared and traumatic. I am going to continue to rise up. I'm going to continue to I'm taking the best care of my energy that I ever have in my life during this whole pandemic, which is really interesting. I think a lot of light workers are doing this, where the time when there are a million things I could be fearful, stressed, or worried about, I feel the best I've ever felt, because I'm so darn connected and focused and living from love. I'm just doing my thing. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, and all I can control is showing up at my best, because that's when I can make a difference. I don't think any of you would be here watching this video right now if I was just spouting a whole bunch of fear and negativity and making you feel shitty. Probably a lot of people would turn this off. Yet, do you still watch the news? Which is doing the exact same thing, just spreading more fear, negativity, toxic energy into your life. So turn that shit off, right? Unfollow any accounts that are bringing you fear, that are making you fall down into this really dark spiral, this rabbit hole. And anything that's causing more intergenerational trauma to be triggered, we got to cut that stuff out as much as possible, okay? And focus on your energy, your vibration. So I've literally just jumped all over the place, because this is basically what to do instead, is that we don't want to stay in fear. We want to get into love. You want to stay as high vibe as possible. And here's the thing, you could be watching this and going, well, but it's not possible because I lost my job. It's well, it is possible because you're still in control of you. So it doesn't matter what happened to you. Don't be a victim of your circumstance. I say that with love, because I spent a lot of years being a victim to my circumstance. For those who don't know, when my brother passed away, when I was sexually assaulted, when I had a super traumatic car accident, there was a time where I stayed a victim to that circumstance. Why me? And I can't control anything. And feeling really stuck. But that's exactly the point. I couldn't control anything. So if I surrender and let go and go, you know what? This must be happening for a reason. This must be here to teach me something. And honestly, 110%, it was here to get me to where I am today. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't gone through those things. So same with COVID, whatever situation you're going through right now, it is here to help you become a better person. It is here to help you get to that next stage. It's here to help you learn. But if you're choosing, consciously or unconsciously, so it's not a blame game, but if you're choosing to stay in fear and in the heaviness and in the why me, or like, I don't know what's gonna happen next, so I'm just gonna stay here and be gloomy and like not take care of myself and all these things, drink away my days, like all of this stuff, if you're doing that, you're staying in the fear, you're not learning the lessons. And here is the biggest thing about life that I believe is that we're here to learn our lessons. So if you don't learn a lesson right now with COVID, the lesson is going to repeat itself. Something is going to come back to you again and again and again. It's like you're being hit by a ton of bricks. That's how I felt until I learned my lesson. I kept attracting more of the same thing that forced me to finally one day go like, why is this happening? And what am I supposed to learn so that I can stop having it happen? So this is an opportunity for the collective, and that's truly what's happening with the virus, with everything going on around the world right now. It's because the collective is being pushed to rise up. The collective is being pushed to break out of the fear trap, which is the media. This is the government. This is like all of the people. This is like the elite who are doing all the sex trafficking and like all these horrible things and keeping us in this place of feeling really small. They're trying to create an environment of fear because then we stay stuck and we're a lot more easy to control. When you feel small, like when you feel like you have no voice, when you don't feel safe, you're really easy to control. You do whatever they want you to because you're like a wounded little child. It's like that inner child is coming out in trauma, in pain, and just like, somebody help me, I'll do anything. And you can end up falling for the trap of putting your faith into the wrong people. So they want an environment of fear because that's how they're going to do mandatory vaccines. That's how they're going to create all these like restrictions around how we can live and what we can do. That's how they're releasing the military across America. They're keeping people in a state of fear, so they're keeping them controlled. But we have the choice and we can rise up from that, and it starts with you as an individual. And every single time you raise your vibration, you come back into love, you come back into positivity, you come back into a sense of, I am not in control of this. My ego, am not in control. But so I must surrender. I must open up to the fact that this is happening for a reason. What could that reason be? What is this here to teach me right now? What is kind of happening on a collective level? And honestly, it's that we're being pushed to rise up. There are more light workers and like spiritual people and people teaching love and kindness and all these things. There are more of those people coming forward right now. This is the rise of the heart-centered people. This is the rise of a change, a massive, massive change from all of the corruption and horrible things that we've endured for too long that kept us stuck in trauma, that kept us stuck in a place of feeling small, voiceless, and unheard. So right now as a collective, we have the opportunity to rise up, but it starts as individuals because every single individual person makes a difference by doing this. So this is why I said for myself, you won't find me watching the news. You won't find me scrolling on these things. I'm not engaging in that. I'm too busy working with my clients and helping coach them. I can't coach anyone if I'm in fear. I can't support anyone. So I have to take care of myself first. I'm too busy reading books about spirituality, mindset, personal development, diving deep into all the things I love so that I can continue to learn and grow and then teach and continue to rise people up as well as rise myself up. I'm too busy doing like quantum healing certifications. I'm too busy meditating and connecting to God and connecting to my higher self and shifting my own traumas, healing my old timelines, repairing old wounds so that I can continue to show up in the world. I'm too busy eating super healthy foods right now because your immunity is based on the foods you eat. So stop eating junk food, stop eating bad foods. I invite you to. I can't force you to, but like I'm really busy eating even more fruits and vegetables than ever, and I feel the best I've ever felt. I'm too busy drinking my Kangen water that has super high alkalinity and is absorbable into my cells so that everything in my body is at peace. I'm too busy doing yoga and movement and having daily dance parties and hula hooping around the house. I'm doing everything I can possibly do to stay up here, to keep myself up here. And that is what I invite you to do as well. So please understand, everything you're feeling right now is natural. If you are feeling triggered, if you are feeling fear, if you are feeling this unknown sense of trauma and you're kind of like, I don't know why I'm just feeling so out of control, and maybe you don't even feel like you had trauma before, and so you're kind of confused. So many people are having like PTSD and trauma response right now, and they're kind of confused about why, but this is why. Because it's passed down in our lineages, it's passed down in our bodies, it's passed down in our souls and our energy, and it's passed down in our minds because these same beliefs come up. And you can check out this video here all about fight or flight response and how it shows up, as well as how your parents, what their beliefs are, what you observe from them, that is something that your subconscious mind attached to as well. So mind, body, soul, all of these things are impacted from generations and generations ago, not to mention past lives. All of these things might be showing up right now, but please hold on to the fact, please hold on to the faith and the knowing that everything is happening so that we can rise up from fear and into love, because we are literally at a crossroads right now, you guys. I cannot stress this enough. We are at a crossroads where we are able to raise the frequency of the collective into a more loving place, into a world that we should have here, a world of freedom, of love, of connection, not of oppression, not of inequality, not of sex trafficking, wars, racism, all of these horrible things, mandatory vaccines and forced like chemicals on our foods, you know, forcing all these negative things. That's not the world that we're supposed to be living in on Earth. It's a world that negative people have created and have gotten and controlled over us. But this is the uprising. That's why it's 2020. This is why astrologers had predicted that 2020 would be the big year, a huge year of opening everyone's eyes. 2020 vision, it's symbolic. It's there for a reason, you guys. It's happening so that we can be a part of the shift. So please choose to be a part of the people rising up and creating that positive change, okay? If you're looking for extra support on this, first, say that. I am the change. I am rising up. Comment it down below. I am rising up. I am choosing love. I'm rising up. I'm choosing love. I'm choosing. That's such empowered language, okay? It's not like, well, maybe I'll be it. It's like, no, fuck, I'm choosing it. I'm gonna do this. I'm choosing to rise up. I'm choosing to stand tall. I'm choosing to show up at my best every day, no matter what that looks like. Some days it's gonna be better than others, but I'm choosing to be a part of this change, of this collective uprising. I wanna be a part of it. I'm going to be a part of the right side of history, of all of the things that I can be involved in, and then get involved however that looks like to you. But from a place of love and from a place of taking care of yourself, taking care of your energy, your mind, body, soul, and bringing that best part of you forward, okay? So comment it down below. I'm choosing to live from love. I forget what I said already, but something empowered like that. Reaffirm it with me in the comments, okay? And then if you're looking for extra support, make sure you check out my free mindset training. It's linked down below because I'm teaching my exact 3-step process, because all of this starts from the mind. You have to break out of that limiting box, that construct, your old identity, all the past traumas and fears and things that you think are who you are, we can break out of that, and I'm going to show you how. So make sure you check out that training, and then if you're interested in applying to work with me inside my Conquer Your Mind program, then you're in for a treat. I would love to support you. Make sure you book a call to chat with me and see how I can help you rise up and break free from the past, break free from your limiting beliefs, and break free from this really negative, traumatic cycle that you may be stuck in right now, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications. I am so excited to be back here full force with daily videos all about this stuff now, and I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video.